Hello again, everyone. It's your favorite scruffy-looking scoundrel, the Crazy Carillion, solo straight. And I'm back again with another edition of Never Tell Me the Odds. Alright, so what I want to do today is cover another one of those crazy controversial topics. We're going to talk about which meta fleet you should be farming and why. This is obviously one of those videos where if you haven't already started on your farm for the Executor, you now have a choice to make with the Profundity just around the corner, as they're both going to be the new meta. So what I wanted to do was cover which one you should be farming and why, Executor or the Profundity. And the answer may surprise you. So the Executor obviously has been out for a while. It is the top dog. So the Profundity is probably going to be coming in order to take down the Executor. So if you're going to be advancing your game early on, mid-game, as a free-to-play player, you should probably be going for one of these two fleets. Theoretically, you're going to probably be leaning towards the Executor at this point because it's already currently in the game. You get some great ships, you get some great characters in order to get it. But if you do a side-by-side comparison with the Profundity, Profundity is going to be the one you want to go for. Now, I know that's a little controversial. So before we get into the details, this is where I'm going to ask you to pause. Please like and/or subscribe. Okay? Now, moving forward, for those of you who have been following the channel, anybody new or have seen any of my content before, I have done a series of videos for iRush Galactic Emperor Palpatine and the following path to do for that, and I'll put that card up here in the top right hand corner. So obviously, if you're on that path, if you've already got C, if you're farming C, rushing C, the Executor makes a lot of sense to go into, okay? So this is not going to be for you. This video is going to be for anyone who doesn't already have the Executor and not going for the Executor and has that decision to make, Executor or Profundity. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you've watched any of my other videos before, I use terms like pinch points or buckets. Now, what that means is anywhere in the game, a bucket would be where your currency, resources, etc. exist, right? There's different ones. You've got energy nodes, you've got different stores, things like that. You've got exclusives from marquees, conquests. Those are all buckets, if you will, right? So I went ahead and did a breakdown comparison of the Executor and the Profundity. And for the Executor and its requirements and Profundity and its requirements, let's go ahead and throw out the argument of relics, okay? And I'm going to say that because they both require Relic 8 or Relic 9, in the case of Profundity, 2 characters, one Relic 7 character, and then everyone else Relic 5. For the ships, you can unlock them at 4-star, and of course, preceding up 5, 6, and 7-star to get the ultimate 7-star unlock for currently Executor, and going to be the same for Profundity. So, we're going to throw out the Relic argument, okay? So don't come and be like, well, I can't get Relic 8, I can't get Relic 9. Well, then you have a problem getting the Executor, so you got the same problem getting the Profundity. So this is not going to be so much about Profundity's easier because of the Relic levels. Throw that argument out. What we're going to look at is the actual requirements themselves. So, currently, if you look at the Executor, okay, in the game, you need to make sure you have Slave 1, you need to make sure you have IG-2000, Houndstooth, the TIE Advanced, the TIE Bomber, the Imperial TIE Fighter, and the Razor Crest, right, in order to do the event. In addition to that, the actual characters, you got to have Piet, you got to have Boba Fett, Darth Vader, TIE Fighter Pilot, Bosk, IG-88, and Dengar. Okay, so that's your requirements. Now, in addition to that, the Profundity does mirror it with the same number of requirements, but not exactly. So, for the Executor, you're going to need Cassian's U-Wing, Biston's U-Wing, Wedge's X-Wing, Big's X-Wing. You're going to need the Rebel Y-Wing, the Ghost, the Outrider for your ships. And then, of course, you're going to need for the characters Admiral Raddus, Cassian Andor, Dash Rendar, Mon Mothma, Jyn Erso, Biston, and Hera Syndulla. So, again, on paper, same number of requirements, right? Wrong. And here's where the differences lie. So if you look at that bucket analogy, like we talk about, right, with managing your bucket pinch points, the Executor currently has characters and or ships that have nowhere to get in the game other than actually farming them with farming energy, and that's light side, dark side, or fleet energy, cantina energy, right? They actually have 11 total things that you have to farm that you can't get from a store, okay? Not including the relics. Again, relics and gear, we're going to throw that argument out because they're pretty much even. But the hidden part that they don't tell you about the Executor is that for the Razor Crest, you got to actually have Beskar Armor Mando, which requires what? 5 additional farm characters that are not in any stores, okay? Whereas the Profundity, when you look at it and break down the stores, ships, characters, etc., you only have to farm 6 things. 6 things that require light side, dark side, cantina energy, fleet energy. That's it, okay? So looking more in depth. For the Profundity, Cassian's U-Wing, Piston's U-Wing, Wedge's X-Wing, Big's X-Wing, the Ghost, ship-wise, are all available in stores. Multiple locations, right? So we're going to call that free. Free, if you've seen my videos before, is a term I use for anything you can get from a store. But you're going to be getting that stuff just for playing the game. So free stores for those ships. The characters themselves, you got Cassian, Jyn Erso, Biston, free, right? So what do you actually have to farm for the Profundity? If you were to start today and you didn't have Executor already in your lineup or Profundity, you only have to farm, in terms of using energy, farm Rebel Y-Wing, Outrider, Admiral Raddus, Dash Rendar, Mon Mothma, and Hera Syndulla, okay? Now specifically, if you want to look at that farm, you got Dash and Hera or Cantina farms, which is a little bit easier because there's no limit on it. So you don't have to refresh the actual node. And in addition, you're getting those Cantina tokens, which is going to get you some of those ships and stuff. So if you look at it on a value basis, if you have neither one of the 2 fleets, you need to be going for the Profundity. Because you're going to get it a lot quicker because you can get a lot of its stuff free through stores, okay? Now, like I said, let's look back at the Executor. What has to be farmed? What is not in stores, right? So that would be the IG-2000 ship, not in a store. That would be the Houndstooth, best ship in the game. They're not giving it to you for free, okay? That would be the TIE Bomber. That would be the Admiral Piet character, the Bosk character. But then again, like I've already mentioned, Beskar Armor Mando has got to be the pilot for the Razor Crest, and without him, you can't get the Executor. So, you now have to also include Greef Karga, Cara Dune, IG-7, Quill, and the Mandalorian himself. None of which in a store, right? You got to actually use your energy. And we all know how precious energy is in the game for the gear crunch, right? Gear crunch is a real thing. All right, so we're also going to talk about another huge pinch point with the Executor is the actual Razor Crest. Now, being that it's a former Conquest exclusive, it is, of course, farmable in shipments, very rarely. But now it is exclusive to Proving Grounds, mainly as its source of how to get it. So that's one of those once a month, very expensive, 20 shards at the time. It's going to take you a while to get the Razor Crest if you don't already have it. So again, another one of those things to call out if you're thinking about going for the Executor early on, you know, a newer account or a mid-game account and you haven't already started. That's going to be a huge thing that you're going to have to tackle. So just again, one of those things you want to look at, think about, and analyze, because I'm telling you, Profundity is going to be cheaper overall when you think about it. So what you need to do is make use of your free currency, your free resources, which means make use of your stores. That's right. So looking at the stores, again, the ships and the characters for the Profundity, there's going to be some limitations, are about 75 to 80% free. They're in stores, okay? So if you're a new, lower account player, starting out, saying, I've got to get a meta fleet, I'm looking at both of them, which way do I need to go? I'm going to say you probably want to really evaluate going for the Profundity. Now, Again, that's throwing out the argument of relics, because you need 2 relic 8s for Executor, you need a relic 8 and a relic 9, which means you need 2 relic 8s for the Profundity. So if you're throwing out those arguments, it's still better to go for the Profundity if you have neither done. Now again, this is in relation to if you've already worked on C, obviously Executor is where you want to go, because you're going to have Vader, right? And you're going to have the TIE Bomber, and you're going to have Piet. So obviously that's the path to go. And that's what we do in my other series of videos, I Rush C, and that's what we're working for. On that account, we're still going for Executor. However, if you're going to be free to play starting today or lower game and you don't already have the Executor and you haven't started farming towards it yet, just throwing it out there, really give the Profundity a serious look. Anyone who's on that fence trying to make that decision, Admiral Raddus just became farmable in the game, so there's nothing holding you back from working on either fleet now. You're not going to be wrong either way. Do what's best for you. Analyze your account. Go for what you want. Take a hard look at the Profundity before you make a decision on which fleet to go for. As always, solo straight. This is Never Tell Me the Odds. And remember, in your SWGoH journey, you don't have to go alone, but you might want to go solo.